I do know that I wouldn't have to ask, 'cause everything on the sea of Galilee, Galilee, oh Galilee, oh Galilee, oh Galilee. To be at the top is not what I think. I guess I just don't know. Maybe I'm just getting done. Work for the check pays the bills leave me thinking, what gives? Clouds make the rain feeds the grass grows high on a mountain, and now that I'm here, it's painfully clear that
The city now resembled her citizens who were blindfolded with no sight. Debris vomited from the sea as the Gulf could no longer hold down deep-seated transgressions of founding families.
15 feet high, and it was moving about 80 miles an hour. Just had all this stuff with it, all the dumpsters, and saw rats this big in it. I'm not kidding you. I went and got my little draw. I said, "You got to see this, man. This is something you'll never see again." And then it hit the building, and that whole building shuddered.
do you? There's the truth of life.
pastor for a while on the island.
Oh, yeah?
And then
Make sure you put in the newspaper. Shit ain't want to help us. We had to do it ourselves.
this is a lot of work. How
It
many
is a lot of
houses
work.
is this?
It was 2-story.
Jeez. Where exactly was it?
You don't see the slab over there?
Oh,
See
yeah.
where them steps was right there?
Yeah.
That's where them steps was. That's where it was. We moved it all over here. And the
Wait,
city,
that tornado was pretty choosy, huh?
the city was supposed to pick it up.
Jeez.
They didn't.
Everything. My pictures, I had my parents' birth certificate and my, what do you call it, confirmation certificate.
For church, confirmation for church.
Yeah.
What were their names? What were your parents' names?
Hilda Airy, Charles Airy, that was my mother and father.
Charles.
Charles and Hilda.
Charles and Hilda. It's so sad. It's hard.
That the worst thing about the storm to me was not knowing what you were going to do. That moving just from, we moved 7 times. That just tore me up, after.
Oh, you mean after, when the storm was done? You didn't know where you were going to live?
No, because we didn't know we were in the hotel. We didn't know if they were going to put you out. In fact, one of them did put us out and put our luggage in the lobby. We took our clothes and put them in the lobby. And I forgotten how we stayed at St. Louis. And then you just had a certain time you could stay in one place, And at my age, when you're moving around like that, it just...
It takes years off your
I'm
life.
surprised I was still alive because I was frightened, uncertain, and...
We were blessed in our last move. We were at the Comfort Inn, and a friend,
seawall.
yeah, a friend, out east, and a friend told us about this place, and so they got us a room because we didn't have anywhere to go that night. Made everybody evacuate.
Oh.
So but we had no water, no lights, or whatever. She didn't want to go, but we couldn't stay here like that.
You couldn't stay.
But then they made you get off the aisle. You couldn't stay here.
And that was the terrible part of it. They closed the aisle, and instead of letting reporters and things in,
Right.
that was the stupidest thing. I hope this gets on television so they can see how stupid it was.
My home will never be the same unless the change starts at the head.
Know that getting well involves all 3 dimensions: body, mind, and spirit. And we try to do that through all our programs, and we sort of structure them that way. And all we're doing is reflecting what life is. Right. We are, to be a person, you have to know your body, your mind, and your spirit. And we find creative and practical ways for people to manifest that in their lives.
And I was thinking of that mission pre-Ike and then post-Ike, and how Ike has influenced or perhaps intensified that need for intervention and how you see the work, how you've seen your mission sort of change and your response to that.
Our mission has not changed. Our mission is still the same, to be an oasis of hope, expecting miracles. That is our mission statement. And as I've told people post-Ike, if those were merely words, as you came here, you see the devastation. We had a housing project that housed some 2,000 families. It's gone. All the public housing is gone. We are in an urban desert. And so an oasis is a place that people traveling through the desert came and stopped and got refreshed to go on. We are that place. And our services have expanded, particularly our medical services, which we encourage people to be a part of their healing. Ike changed everything. The landscape has changed. We are probably one of the primary providers to the indigent for medical care. We do Thanksgiving back.
You did both.
We did both. We had partnered prior to the storm with St. Patrick's, which is now Holy Name Parish. 170 meals St. Vincent's was able to provide
For Galveston.
for Galveston.
Folks.
Right.
That's
Right.
a lot of
That's
meals.
pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So do you see food as a real need too?
Food is a real need. One thing that you can always get at St. Vincent's House is food. St. Galveston has the wonderful designation of being food insecure and a food desert.
For a lot of the residents.
Right, and a food desert is characterized as not being able to have nutritional access to food or a grocery store, I think within a mile or a quarter of a mile.
You got the Jack Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay. People of color rarely receive any honor or support. But the worst part of that is they are the main ones to express any negative retort. I'm the biggest hater when there are haters out there bigger than me, especially when they are consumed by their vanity, lived out through their greed.
Piece about creativity, can you speak about how are you able to create a book after all this?
Out of sheer necessity and writing about what I know. We as humans, we all have creativity. Some of us express ourselves through writing, singing, praying, whatever it takes. I just needed to get my thoughts out because my friends who had taken me in, and they were very well-meaning and they were very supportive, but at the end of the day, I had to be with me. And there was things that I could not say to other people. There were feelings that I could not express to relatives or to my children or to my friends. And it was my soul speaking to my soul. It was me speaking to me. And the only way that I could do that was to write it down. That served me well. And so we're all creative. And if we rely on that aspect of our being, it will serve as a map, because writing it down served as a map. When I read my own words, I didn't even recognize my own words, because those words was coming from a space that was beyond my physical being at that point. And it served as a map. And when I read my own words, I followed them. But it was me speaking to me. And for those who believe in God, the concept of God or whatever, that is the God in one that is speaking to us. And we write it down and we follow it. Because that's our truest map. It's not GPS.
Well, and you mentioned to me previously in a conversation where we have a hand in what happens.
I just think we have to remember that, because otherwise, when something happens like Ike, we feel like, oh my God, why is this happening to me?
The word victim.
Yeah, victim. You know, I'm being victimized by the weather and all that. I mean, what have I done? Have I been a bad person to deserve this? This is not about
being punished by God.
Yeah,
or
am I
is
being
God
punished?
sent a punishment to New Orleans?
Exactly.
All that happens.
All of
Thoughts.
that. All of those
People
thoughts.
think that.
Yes. And we have to realize that we're a part of this painting. And if we're a part of this painting, then we're one of the artists of the painting. So people ask, oh, well, my God, why don't you just move? You know, you're living right there on the Gulf of Mexico. This happens, you know, when you're that close to the water. Well,
This happens everywhere.
yeah, it is going to happen everywhere. And it was the levees in New Orleans this time. But there's levees all over this country that's in terrible shape. And when they give, then people that's in the Midwest is going to experience.
And they
So-
have already, with rivers overflowing, and it's not so much. I mean, that's the other piece that I remember, and part of my struggle has been, you know, why didn't I leave Galveston when I lost my job? And that challenge of not letting that voice that says I should have moved forward faster. I think it's present even in dialogues. And I think it's a destructive voice, because it's not about compassion. It's not about understanding. It's not about seeing people as people, seeing my own reality. I don't know. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm interested in this film, because it's a counteract, because I've heard people say about New Orleans that, well, they knew it was going to happen. And that goes nowhere.
That's judgment.
It's judgment.
It's judgment. And I had people say, oh, well, you have insurance. No, I didn't. And for those who did have insurance, who thought that they were adequately protected, how many years later? Then the court's trying to get paid.
Still.
Those are judgments. Well, if you knew that the water was going to come off the Gulf of Mexico, why are you living there? That's a judgment. And that judgment would fail when it happens to the person that's saying that. Well, you should have known better. Why? Better for what? And that's judgment. And I hope that people will not do that, because the last thing that a person needs that's in that situation is being judged by somebody who has not had that experience and don't know what they're going through.
So,
And you wrote a song.
yes, I did. I wrote a song. Actually, the song was watching Hurricane Rita and all of the water going through New Orleans and the dikes there, the dams there just falling apart, and it's called Shelter in the Storm. And I wrote this song just feeling the empathy of what they were going through. And I couldn't really finish it. And then I met with about a couple of weeks later a couple of ours friends of ours that volunteered down at the Astrodome, where the Louisiana refugees had come, and they were just handing out clothes. They were doing whatever they could do to volunteer. And Joe, I was talking with Joe, and he was telling me the story about an elderly black man came up to him and said, you know, I need a fresh set of clothes. And Joe was sizing him up, and he'd hand him some jeans and hand him a clean T-shirt. And the black man said, Joe, you know, I think I appreciated him, but I think things are going to be all right. And he said, well, what do you mean? He says, well, as I look over your shoulder, I see an angel there, and the Lord has given us a brand new day. And when Joe told me that story, that became the second verse of this song. So it's it means much more to me now that I have gone through the process myself. So when I'm playing the song at church, the praise team knows that I probably won't be able to finish it. And with that, they come in and fill in where I'm just so emotionally overwhelmed I can't complete the song, and they help me finish the song. So that people are at the stage of where they're moving on. But the difficulty for the survivors, the ones that were in it every day, is that you just don't move on. How's it going? And they said, well, we're getting back to normal. And I'm thinking in my mind, you don't mean normal. You mean the new normal, because the normal is gone. And you've got to let that normal go. And you have to accept what is the new normal. And I said, well, God bless you, ma'am. I do appreciate it. So she gave me a water, and she gave me the hot meal, and I went back to my house, and I had it. So there was this feeling like everybody was in a club.
Right.
And everybody was dealing with the same issues. And you had those who had insurance, and you had those that didn't have insurance, and
challenges with that.
And you had some people whose houses fell down,
right.
And you had others who, like myself, my residence here was not damaged, but I was dealing with other issues and trying to help others. And it was just that feeling that you get on the island. And a lot of people look at Galveston Island as you're either a BOI
right.
or you're an IBC.
Right.
Well, I happen to be an IBC, that is island by choice. And once you get down to that level where it's just raw relationships,
right.
and the people are helping you, we finally, but this one neighbor and I, we went over to Harold's house, yeah. And he hadn't cleaned out a thing. He was living in his house with mold on every wall, in every room. The carpet was still squishy. So we spent the afternoon, we cleared out 2 sleeper sofas. We cleared out an entertainment center that was kind of made of cardboard and whatnot. It was falling down. We cleared out the carpet. We cleared out all of his house so that he could begin the process on it. I think the city had to deal with an overwhelming debris issue and an overwhelming services issue. And you could drive through UTMB, you could drive through areas of downtown Galveston along the Strand and just see the water line somewhere 8-9 feet high. And there's no way you can anticipate all the things you have to have. And I think the city and the mayor, they did a outstanding job just in trying to get the city ready to start the massive build-up effort. And
that incident in Katrina where the folks in a retirement home were lost, folks down here for Rita was going to get their parents out of retirement homes, because I have an older cousin who lost her mother on I-45 because the traffic was at a standstill, and in the heat it was just hot as heck.
And Rita, she died.
Mm-hmm. They had several people die in Rita.
Oh, that's so hard.
I know, that's why it was hard for them to get everybody to just jump up and get on the freeway when it came to Ike.
Right.
You know, we had about 6,000 diehards here on the island, and construction workers, they're old seamen, islanders, boat people. So it's like, well, and then we heard Bush was going to close off the island. It's like,
Some people wonder after a storm why people stay. Can you think about, besides having history, I think that for me, I've learned the challenge of moving and finding a new home somewhere else. Why do it?
and then once you lose everything, you really don't want to have to depend on the government. A reason why I stayed, bad enough I have to deal with insurance, but if I'm somewhere and I don't know anybody, I'm not familiar with the area, I'm going to be screwed. I'm going to be like those folks in Katrina 5 years later who still don't have a home, who still don't have any help. Nobody's going to help you.
No, and this
So,
is where your family's from.
yeah, and so you just rebuild. It's like people that stay in any other, up in the north. They go through, get snowed in all the time, freezing cold. Why do you do that? Why don't you move somewhere warmer? But
Exactly.
that's where they want to be.
It's the home.
That's the home.
Yeah. And so you went through the hurricane. What was that like? Tell me.
It was scary, especially when I couldn't get out of Mr. Dana's house because the trees had,
That's right.
I couldn't get the back door open at all.
And you got in there after you left this house?
No, I was in my house across the street. It's on a concrete slab of 1 story. I had over 6 feet of water in that house.
And you saw it coming in?
Yeah, by the time I got out of the house, the water was already between my knees and my ankles.
Wow.
And stupid me, I don't know what I was thinking. I ran back to my son's room because I was talking to my neighbor on the phone. And I told her, I said, the key won't work to the door. And her husband had accidentally locked all the locks. And she said, well, the key on the front works in the back. So I went through the back. Well, when I was talking to her on the phone, the water came up and, the phone was a plug-in.
Oh my gosh.
So it stopped working and she just went ballistic because last she'd heard from me, I was in my house and the water was rising. And I wasn't even thinking, and when that happened, I put the phone down and I ran back in my son's room where the fuse box was and I flipped the switch.
Oh my God.
So I'm running, I'm soaking wet, running through water, and I was like, I don't know why I did it. It was just, I don't know.
The water's, you're not thinking.
Yeah.
It's anxiety. At that point.
And then it got scary when I couldn't get the door open. I was like, oh man, I don't want to break their windows. What am I saying? The whole house is falling apart.
So did you break a window?
No, he's a carpenter, and there was one of his tools was floating by, so I just picked it up and pried the door open.
What were you thinking? Just get out.
Getting out, and I had to get my animals out. Girl, I traveled with dog food, cat food, and a litter box, let me tell you.
How'd you do that?
One at a time.
You did?
Once me and Bear came across the street.
And that's your dog,
And that's
Bear.
the oldest one, Bear. I got her settled.
And you came here?
Yeah, we were on the porch because
You
I
were
couldn't
there.
get into this house. So for 3 days and 2 nights, I was out on that porch. We slept on that storm blind because it had fallen from the window. And then I had gathered up some palm branches to put in the yard and on the sidewalk so when we walked, we wouldn't slip and slide around because the sludge was slippery.
What, you and your family lost everything. I have customers to be catered to and my business needs your laboring. Everyone affected.
I would go to the library and get these books on sailing.
Really?
Yeah, and I would take them to school with me. And I was hiding behind another book, and all the time I was reading about sailing. And it was like I'd been struck by a religion. I've always loved boats and water, you know.
Boats and water.
Yep, and I lived in France, where I learned how to dive. I learned that in the Mediterranean, marine biology over there, and I lived in France for 10 years. Yeah.
Are they pretty advanced in marine biology?
Well, not more than we are, but they've been in that field.
Jacques Cousteau.
Oh, now you got it.
You worked with him?
Yes. Wait, because I won't be back right away. I have to travel some more, but I will definitely write you. So I kept waiting for the letter, like waiting for Christmas. And one day I got this letter, and the return address said on the envelope, it said, the Oceanography Institute of Monaco. God, he really did write me, and I was just shaking.
Oceans changed after the hurricane? What has your feeling been because of the water? Is it scarier, or is it?
Well,
do you just have more?
What you have to learn is you learn respect. For example, I have been through several hurricanes for years. I went through my first hurricane in 1947 when I was 7 years old. And I was with my mother and father and my grandmother, and we almost drowned. You know, the waves came in and hit the house and filled the house up with water, yeah.
And this was in Alabama?
No, it was in Mississippi.
It was in Mississippi, okay.
On the coastline of Mississippi. And I've been through several of those big bad storms. And I lived also in New Orleans, which is Louisiana. And Louisiana's had some real bad hurricanes. And I went through some there too. So
respect.
So I was gonna tell you that I think from the hurricanes, it's like being in love with a very mean, bad woman, you know? It's them.
But it's powerful.
Yeah, you still love her, but damn, she's mean. Force of the hurricane is it's so strong. You know, when the wind gets up to 150 miles an hour, boy, it's just, you can't walk in that, you know. You can actually lean against the wind. You know, it's just
like a wall.
Yeah. You lean your body into it, and
So you've had that experience.
Oh,
of-
yeah, it sure
It's
has.
part of your relationship with the ocean.
Yep.
But do you see it more as the wind or as the ocean?
Well, it's a combination of the two because the water gets so rough, you know. They say it's wind-driven water, you know, water driven by the wind. And it's so strong that, you know, man has no control. You can't even walk.
Like my 8th grade class.
Yeah, there you go.
No control.
That's right. Exactly. Yep. They have a will of their own. Yep. And I had to get rescued up there.
You did?
Yep.
By who?
The fire department. They came up there and they carried me downstairs and put me in a van and took me. I ended up, believe it or not, in San Antonio. I stayed in.
That's horrible. There's no water there.
That's right.
You're in the middle of a desert.
Yeah. Oh boy, the Alamo and all that stuff. I see damn cowboys.
They took me out.
I'm not a cowboy, I'm a fisherman. What the hell am I doing here? And what a place.
blessings from that storm. They don't all come to the forefront immediately, and your first thing is such an overwhelming loss. But you know, you have to move things out of the way so good things can come to you. To say, the reality, I cannot do this by myself. I cannot do it again the way it was. That was very difficult for me to say, but when I said it out loud, it was like, oh, a burden has been lifted. I think that when people have been in a place and good things have happened, that stays. The water can't wash it away. You know, we had something before, and we knew, we had a picture in our mind, we want to bring that back. And that helps when you at least have a vision.
We had a physical photograph of the front room, how it was from up in the loft, taking a picture. And then we had photos of like the knitters in here doing their deal, and the poetry club from the back, and all you can see is one guy's face, and he's got a piece of paper in his hand, and you know, and it's like those are physical manifestations of the energy that we're talking about.
Taste the rain, I see their suffering, I feel their pain. The storm keeps coming, will it never